lineup here on the Now. So much of our information is collected without us even knowing it. So we're taking a look at what it would take to better protect us online and what you should be doing about this. And a lick from a dog or a cat, it could prove to be devastating for some people with weakened immune systems. There's new research, though, that could provide some answers. And a behind-the-scenes look at what could be the future of farming. We're talking about reducing both harvest time and waste.
Thank you, Chris. This is the Now Indy on RTV6. I'm Amanda Starantino. Young love being shut down. Parents of 5th graders at Jeffersonville Elementary School received a letter this week from teachers. That letter was an explanation of a no dating policy between students at Riverside Elementary, which is right on the Ohio River. But the school followed up with an update explaining the original wording was wrong. School officials are acknowledging parents' worries and say the intention behind the decision to send a letter home was to protect students' feelings and prevent distractions in the classroom. Even so, many parents are not in support of a no dating policy between 5th grade students, saying what you think is young love can prepare you for the future. Chris Williams is against a dating ban.
It was. My mom thought I would have died for that girl also. I would have told that teacher, you can get out of my face. You can either kick us, me and that girl out, or it's not happening.
Well, some parents say they can see where Riverside Elementary is coming from, but one mom says the school crossed the line. Teaching kids the value and importance of kindness. This year, students at Oak Trace Elementary in Westfield started a community project. The 4th graders decided to paint a mural with the theme of kindness. So today, those 4th graders painted the north wall of the restroom building at Bales Park in Westfield. That wall is a visible location in the park.
The teachers told all the 4th graders that they could choose a word to put on the mural, and I chose the word forgiving, and I get to paint it on the mural.
Now, why did you choose that word?
Because me and my mom came home and I told her about it, and we just started picking important words out that we say a lot, and she always tells me that I have to forgive my friends, I have to forgive everybody, even if they do something wrong. And I just remembered that word, and I was just like, oh, let's do forgiving. So that's what I picked.
Cute. There is also another connection between Westfield Schools and Asa Bales Park. Students designed the playground at the park, too. Okay.
And we had some big weather changes moving in, but a nice day for those kids to get in some work on that mural. We had summer warmth and some of that humidity returning to the state. You can see the clouds moving over downtown Indianapolis, but northern areas have been dealing with scattered showers and thunderstorms throughout the afternoon. Not much in the way of any strong thunderstorms here, but we could have some localized flooding issues as we've got this band of rain between Frankfort and Delphi stretching into southern portions of Miami County and also through portions of Howard County with some frequent lightning as well. Now we'll get that round out of here, dry for several hours, and then overnight another round of some showers and thunderstorms, again favoring areas north of Interstate 70. The main issue there is again going to be some rumbles of thunder and some occasional downpours. Our temperature in the upper 80s right now, that dew point back in the lower 60s, so it's going to start to feel a little more muggy. Temperatures staying warmer this evening. We're at 76 degrees through 10 o'clock with those storms mainly to the north and a southwest breeze. Chris?
An impeachment inquiry into President Trump is gaining momentum. National Security Action, which is an advocacy group, releasing a statement in support. The group is made up of former national security officials. More than 300 members have come out in favor of the inquiry. Many of them served in Homeland Security, the State Department, and the National Security Council. Meanwhile, Russia's reacting to the Trump administration's decision to release the transcript of a call with Ukraine. Kremlin saying that it hopes the U.S. wouldn't release similar transcripts of any calls between President Trump and Vladimir Putin. Russian officials also questioned the decision by House Speaker Nancy Pelosi to call for an impeachment inquiry. The CDC releasing new information today about its investigation into vaping. The agency says 77% of the illnesses it's looking into involve people who use products with THC along with nicotine in some cases. 36% of people said that they exclusively use THC products. 16% said they only use nicotine products. The CDC is looking into more than 800 cases right now. Federal investigators announcing a massive bust today. Has to do with an alleged Medicare fraud scheme. The people charged in the case had seniors do cheek swabs for DNA tests that they didn't need.
How much is Medicare being billed for this?
Medicare is being billed anywhere from $10,000 to upwards of $30,000 for these tests.
$30,000?
$30,000.
For one DNA?
For one DNA test.
Yeah, Medicare ended up getting charged around $2 billion total. Now, among the more than 30 facing charges in the case include telemarketing companies and labs. Well, for a second straight week, people around the world hit the streets to call for action on climate change. The movement was spurred by young climate activists. You have likely seen Greta Thunberg's testimony at the UN where she pleaded with lawmakers to do something to protect the environment. And if you're planning on seeing the new movie Joker at a theater run by Landmark Theaters, don't wear a costume. The company is becoming the latest to issue a ban. Now, this decision comes amid some safety concerns surrounding this movie. AMC Theaters also has a ban. Their rule has been in place since the deadly Aurora shooting during the screening of Dark Knight Rises. All right, ahead in our lineup, there is a possible new clue in the case of a man who lost parts of his legs and arms because a dog licked him. We're going to talk about how the research he's part of now could help others.
Welcome back to the Now Indy on RTV6. The 70-year-old Indiana man found guilty to charges related to getting a 14-year-old girl pregnant. David Killian, Sr. of Kosciuszko County, Indiana, was found guilty of 3 counts of sexual misconduct with a minor this week. Complaints of sexual misconduct began in March of 2017, alleging Killian had inappropriately touched the 14-year-old. And at one point, Killian is accused of pinning the girl down to a couch and forcing himself on her. Investigators say the girl became pregnant after one of the assaults, and she gave birth in December of 2017. She took the stand during the trial.
To me, it takes a lot of courage to relive things that you probably would not want to relive. If it was me, I don't know if I could do that or not.
There is a sentencing hearing for David Killian Sr. set for October 17th.
Now, if you have a dog or a cat, they probably licked you at some point. Let's face it, maybe they lick you all the time. But this is kind of a scary story when we think about that because there's a bacteria in their mouths that could affect people with weakened immune systems. That's what Greg Manifold learned the hard way.
I was healthy my whole life, never had anything wrong with me till 48 years old, and then just something like this to hit me that quick and hard, it was kind of difficult to deal with.
It's tough to think about. He ended up having parts of his arms and legs amputated. He also lost skin on his nose and lost part of his lip. Manifold's now, though, taking part in a study where scientists say they may have found a breakthrough. They think they've identified a rare genetic disorder that makes people more susceptible to the bacteria that's found in the mouths of dogs and cats.
You know, the stakes are high, and the findings of our research, we think, has implications for how people are treated and managed, as well as how they're vaccinated and how they're cared for after dog bites or other, possible presentations of infections.
Manifold is still waiting for his official test results. The researchers say the genetic issue is just one piece of the puzzle. They are currently looking at other risk factors. A crackdown from a major publisher could end up hurting libraries. Macmillan Publishing is now limiting the number of ebook copies that it gives out. Now, for a new book, it'll only give a library 1 ebook copy for the first 8 weeks, which is a big difference when you compare it to what libraries have now, which tends to be more than 10.
It's really pretty radical. I mean, I would say that it hasn't sent ripples through the library community. It's sent like a tsunami through the library community.
The change from Macmillan goes into effect in November. There's already a petition for this. Now, to get more information, go to ebooksforall.org. All right, coming up in our lineup, they're calling it Old MacDonald meets Henry Ford. We're going to take you inside what could be the secret to the future of farming.
RTV6 is working for you.
You hear the headlines about our economy improving, but you might not be feeling it. A new study, though, is showing just how much of a reality this is. Nearly 40% of people Bankrate talk to say just staying current or getting caught up on bills is still their top financial priority. This is over saving money or paying down debt. But here's a big concern. Just more than half of people say they are budgeting. Bankrate found that millennials are the worst about this.
I think it's easy to be in denial about how much money we're spending. If you're not paying attention, then it's very easy to allow essentially a problem to develop.
Now, Bankrate says, along with that denial, just not knowing the best ways to budget may be part of the problem for people, but there are ways to get help with this. Just using your bank's app, a way to start small. Bankrate also has calculators on its website that can help you track spending. Now, one of the most popular apps, you may have heard of it, maybe not, it's called Mint. Now, the app organizes your spending into categories. It then helps you drill down on the places where you're spending too much and need to cut back. Mint even alerts you when you're over your budget. Now, the app Clarity Money, that's another one that you should check out. One unique feature is that it reminds you to cancel subscriptions for things that you might be paying for, but you may not be using. Cool story here. 2 women on Florida's Treasure Coast taking recycling to a new level. Nanette and Ethel, they stitch creations out of plastic bags. This idea came after a request from a friend to make something that they could carry wet shoes in. Well, 25 years later, these what they're called recycling grannies, they have a successful operation.
It's fun coming up with the idea. It's fun seeing it all come together and to look nice.
I enjoy doing it. For me, it's like a pastime.
Now, the grannies also use fishing line in their work. If you want to check out their work for yourself, you do have to make a bit of a trip. You're going to have to go to the Sebastian Inlet State Park. All right, let's turn to the Now News feed here. And these days, you can't have a cup of tea without having to worry about plastics. McGill University found that plastic tea bags are shedding microplastics into water, and this study says the amount was much more than what was previously found in food and drink. Take a look at this. Not something that you see on the water every day. This is a historic home in Maryland, getting a bit of a boat ride to a new location. This is a home that was built back in 1764. The family who bought it, well, they felt it would just be a better fit on another piece of land in another town, so they loaded it up by boat and shipped it that way. Australia is taking an interesting approach to making sure people take care of their pets. Dog owners could be fined $2,700 if they don't walk their pets at least once a day. A new law also makes sure that people are providing basics like shelter, water, and food.
New on the Now, Indiana State Police troopers credited with saving the life of a 5-year-old Georgia boy at the side of a Miami County highway this week. State Police say Trooper Ben Reason was driving home from a day of canine training in Indianapolis Thursday when dispatchers called out an unresponsive 5-year-old boy. The child was choking on something inside of a minivan stopped on the side of US 31. Reason was less than a minute from the scene and rushed there. The trooper performed the Heimlich maneuver, causing the boy to throw up the item lodged in his throat. Medics rushed the child to the hospital for treatment. The 5-year-old boy is okay. He and his family are now on their way back to Georgia.
We're looking west over downtown Indianapolis, and you already start to see the sun sinking a little bit there in the sky. Yesterday, we had our 12 hours of daylight and darkness, and that means that the daylight hours are just going to continue to get a little bit shorter here over the next few days. It does not mean, though, that we are out of the woods as far as some summer warmth. We've got plenty of that to talk about. Also, a few thunderstorms, but this is really over north portions of the RTV6 area. You can see stretching from around Frankfort and then into northwestern Howard County, also around Marion, Indiana. Some heavy rainfall and some frequent lightning in these. That's going to be the biggest issue here. As we look at some of the rainfall rates, you can see there just south of Logansport around 2.5 inches or more per hour. And some of those storms really aren't moving a whole lot. So some localized flooding, something we'll watch out for. Temperature 89 degrees in Indy, where you've had some rain, though. It's in the middle 60s in Kokomo, upper 80s with sunshine in Bloomington. A few of those storms overnight tonight again. We'll have temperatures into the upper 60s instead of the 50s to start off our weekend. And our Saturday forecast, breaking it down like this, a little more in the way of some cloud cover, but temperatures still warming nicely. 78 degrees at 11 a.m. We'll get into the lower and middle 80s for the early afternoon hours, and eventually middle to upper 80s for that afternoon high. Now, there are the chances for a few showers to sneak into our Saturday forecast. This is 6 a.m. Saturday morning, and again, it's really going to favor the northern third of central Indiana here. And even if you do see some rain, it'll move through pretty quickly here. Much of the day is going to be dry and partly sunny. Our high temperature 85 in Danville. We'll have a little bit of a temperature spread, though, from 90 in Columbus to just the upper 70s in Lafayette and Kokomo Saturday afternoon. On Sunday, we'll all get in on some warmth and again an isolated shower or storm heading into the afternoon. Next few days of your forecast, that isolated shower or storm Saturday and Sunday, highs in the middle to upper 80s, and then we're in record territory Monday and Tuesday with highs in the lower 90s. Chris?
When you pick up that head of lettuce at the grocery store, the USDA says that it's traveled an average of 1,500 miles. It's a long time, and it leaves a heavy carbon footprint, and some flavors can actually change during the shipment process too. But there's a new type of farming that's changing that, and Usher Qureshi is showing us how one man is using computers in vertical farming.
Inside this warehouse on Chicago's South Side could lie the secret to the future of farming. It's a high-tech approach, implementing artificial intelligence, cameras, and robotics, yielding leafy organic greens of high quality while reducing waste and the time it takes to harvest.
We've got red Mizuna, red vein sorrel.
For the last 3 years, Jay Kune, the founder of Backyard Fresh Farms, has been pilot testing indoor vertical farming, utilizing the principles of manufacturing.
Being able to have the crop come to the farmer instead of the farmer going to the crop. And that translates into huge efficiencies because we can start treating this like a manufacturing process instead of a farming process.
Some have called it Old MacDonald meets Henry Ford.
The system will be queuing up trays to the harvesters based on where the plants are in their life cycle.
It's the automation and assembly line that makes this vertical farming model unique. AI algorithms and cameras monitor the growth of the crops.
They're capturing live images. They're doing live image analysis. They're also collecting energy use data so we can monitor how much energy our lights are using.
So what essentially happens is the plant itself is becoming the sensor that controls its own environment.
Kune says another factor that makes this process different is scalability. Right now he can grow about 100 different varieties of vegetables, and he's looking to expand.
There's really no ends to the type of varieties we can grow, and specifically in the leafy greens, I mean flavors that explode in your mouth.
And it's becoming big business. The global vertical farming market, valued at $2.2 billion last year, is projected to grow to nearly $13 billion by 2026. That's why chefs at high-end restaurants like Gibson's Steakhouse here in downtown Chicago are seeking out locally grown produce like Backyard Fresh's.
The quality of the product is superior. The flavors are intense. It's just delivering an unbelievably sweet, tender product.
Kune says he has 9 pending patents for the hardware and software system he's testing in his 2,000 square foot space.
The vision is really to build 100,000 square foot facilities near the major population centers, be able to provide amazing, delicious greens that were grown sustainably.
If he succeeds where others have failed, his high-tech hydroponic farming plan could get him a slice of the $63 billion U.S. produce market. At the same time, bringing sustainable fresh vegetables to a table near you. Reporting from Chicago, I'm Usher Qureshi.
Usher, thank you. And if you feel like you're stuck in a job instead of building a career, you're not alone. Career Builder found about half of people feel that way.
Job is more of a transactional event where you're performing a task in exchange for compensation or a compensation package. And when we're talking about a career, we're talking about long-term growth, opportunity.
Now, Michelle Armour says it's not just about money. You want to look for a company with a strong culture and sense of purpose. A comprehensive benefits package, training and promotional opportunities. Commute time was the second most important factor to people, and that was next to money and benefits.
They can look internally in a lot of ways within their current organization. They can seek out a mentor. It's really important to be vocal about wanting to expand your skill set and ask for training.
Career Builder does have an artificial intelligence resume builder tool to help highlight your best skills that could help you land another job. Now, if you are looking for a job, turns out Monday may be the best day to apply. This is according to a survey from LinkedIn. Now, as far as the best month, it's actually October. Now, that's when the site has the most job openings. LinkedIn says those jobs usually get hired in less than 4 weeks. Now, let's turn to a story of kindness that is quickly getting attention from people all over the world. Anna Davidson's car got a flat tire this week. So when a homeless man named Chuck stepped in, and without asking, he changed the tire. Anna posted, and now it's being shared hundreds of times.
Just wanted them to put a face to who they're judging.
Yeah, it's just a great story here. Now, Chuck says that he is working to get his food handler's license, and he will begin counseling soon. Now, finally in our lineup today here on The Now, cool story to think about here. Deep space, it's really been a mystery until now. There's some new technology that's changing that. The creation helping NASA and the Air Force go farther than ever before.